Welcome to a very special Into Pittsburgh. We're celebrating our 3rd anniversary today. And over that period of time, we've talked to some very special people and heard about some amazing projects. Today, we've brought back our first guests from that first show way back when. We're talking with Scott Wolovich and Dan Steiker of New Sun Rising. Scott and Dan, welcome back to the show. We talked a little bit about what New Sun Rising has been doing over those 3 years, but I'd like to talk to you more about Pittsburgh in general and where we can go with that. So let's start off and tell me, what do you like about Pittsburgh?
Yeah, Pittsburgh is still a very approachable city, right? It's at a scale that's large enough that offers some really great, world-class cultural amenities and opportunities to access nature and the environment. But it's also small enough that you can get connected to the people you need to get connected to, both personally and professionally. And I think that's a really great combination that I still enjoy.
What about you, Dan?
I think that Pittsburgh has, like Scott was saying, a lot of the cultural amenities that a big city has, but it also has that small town feel as well. Better traffic, better housing options, as well as the connectivity of the people. I hear often from friends that visit that people are so nice, especially driving. And it's I think that's very indicative of people in Pittsburgh.
I think you both mentioned it. I think Pittsburgh is a great place to get something started because you can actually find people that not only can help you, but are willing to help you here in this city. And your organization definitely spurs that activity through mentorship and things like that. If there was something you could change right now in Pittsburgh, what would that be?
Boy, do I have to pick one?
Yeah, no. Want to give me a list? I'll take them down for you.
There's such a rapid pace of change right now, and I don't think it's just Pittsburgh. I think it's something we're feeling throughout the country and society right now. Things are changing so fast, and I think that especially communities that historically have not had opportunity have an even tougher time keeping up with that change. And instead of us shrinking certain gaps around opportunities, quality of life, health, those types of things. Unfortunately, I see some of those actually getting larger. So for me, if I could just sort of put us into a little bit of a slower motion, allow some of these trends to sort of catch up and ensure that the gaps that we have in our communities are shrinking instead of widening, that would be my wish.
Make sure we're not leaving anybody behind.
Yeah.
How about Dan?
Yes. I think, often I echo what Scott would say, but also, who should be at the table that isn't, I think is just very important, not just in Pittsburgh. But make sure that our leaders are representing the people that we're serving. All across the spectrum of organizations. How can we be better citizens to each other? And how can we help all of us make everyone make Pittsburgh great?
So diversifying city government, diversifying nonprofit boards, those types of activities?
Exactly. Across the board, it's diversity of thought is very important. Even in for-profit organizations, on boards, all across.
Channel some of these new ideas and these new thinkers in these neighborhoods.
Yeah.
So Mark Twain once said, I always like using this one, that Pittsburgh is the place to be if the end of the world comes because it's 5 years behind. You've mentioned that there are some seismic changes going on in this nation, across this nation. And there are some things that are happening in other areas of the country to help impact some of this seismic change. Things like better support for social enterprises, impact investment, businesses solving problems along with nonprofits. What are some things that you think Pittsburgh could actually maybe catch up on or do better or import from other areas to help our communities?
Yeah, I think one of the things we have to really do is continue to not read our own press, not drink our own Kool-Aid. Really get out and understand that, yes, we are doing a lot of great things, and a lot of people, even across the globe, are looking to Pittsburgh to lead in certain areas. But there's a lot of things we could be doing better, and there's actually communities out there that are ahead of us that we could be learning from. In particular, social enterprise, cooperative structures of employers, of governance. There's a lot of things that are happening, whether it's in Europe, whether it's in places like Denver, Colorado, that are really scaling up these things at a much more rapid pace than we are. And I think we could look to them and learn from some of that. And some of it has to do with, making sure that people have access to resources to do these things. Business as usual is not going to solve the problems that we have, and I think we need to really be open at looking at different models and supporting those.
Ditto? Dan's over here shaking his head.
Yes, I think that any of the approaches have to be both grass tops and grassroots. It has to include system level thinkers, but it also have to include people on the ground.
So what are some resources that we might be missing here in Pittsburgh? Or resources that need to be expanded?
I think we as nonprofits have to, obviously be compliant to regulations, but, are there ways that we can help support the neighborhoods that we serve, the economies that we serve, to help everyone raise the ship, raise everyone up. And that includes some ways that government should come into play as far as helping social enterprises just as much as they do sometimes tech companies. I always say, there's certain things that, if you go on the more personal level, it takes some time, but it's typically more steady to work on the grassroots level than a systems level, a larger organization even. So why not invest in more of those on that social enterprise side as opposed to startups in the technology field?
Makes sense. So what is your favorite thing to do in Pittsburgh?
My favorite thing to do in Pittsburgh? Boy, I have a dichotomy of interest in that I love to take my family down to the Strip District and walk the streets and sample food and eat my way through the district. But I also love to go up to McConnell's Mill Park and hike and check out the waterfalls. So again, one of the beauties here is you can have that great urban experience and within an hour be in some of the most beautiful places of the country.
I think that's Pittsburgh's best selling point, and I think it misses that selling point a lot, is that if you live here, you can have the best of urban and the best of recreation as well. So that's a good point.
Yeah.
How about Dan? Dan's got an artist bent by trade.
So I love the cultural amenities of Pittsburgh, especially like the theater scene, and it's burgeoning on different levels. The Pittsburgh Fringe Festival, helping that kind of the starting out companies get solid footing and audiences to all of our professional level theater and symphony and everything else.
I think when you look at the performing arts in Pittsburgh, that's where you see a lot of the innovation. I mean, people look at the innovation as the tech companies that are spinning out of Carnegie Mellon or University of Pittsburgh, but you see a lot of innovation out of the theater companies here. They're trying different things. They're popping up in different spaces. That is exciting to watch as well, to see that kind of activity going on here. So, put on your Wizards cap and look through that crystal ball and tell me, where is Pittsburgh, say, 5-10 years from now?
What it should be 5 years ago.
So what should it have been 5 years ago? You can't get away with that.
I tried. Continue being a world-class city for everyone.
Okay, and what makes it a world-class city for everyone?
A level playing field and an equal opportunity for everyone to explore and participate.
Great. How about you, Scott? What do we see in the future?
I think we have an opportunity to be a model of how economies can grow in harmony with the community. I think for some reason we've stripped the humanity out of our economy. And as we're growing this region and looking at opportunities that we either subsidize or invest in, I think it's a real chance to infuse humanity back into those discussions and build economies that don't just work for the bank, but also work for people's quality of life.
Interesting to hear that from you, considering Pittsburgh's become the center for AI, for artificial intelligence. So bring back the humanity.
Yeah.
So what is the one thing that Pittsburgh's missing that you'd love to see here?
I don't know. This week being Inclusive Innovation Week, I've been hearing just a lot of, there's been panel conversations, there's been reflections, a lot of conversations happening after these meetings. And one thing I hear echoing is how are we advocating for the things we care most about? It's great to have this week that we're all rallying, but what is the ongoing effort to make sure that the things that we are saying we care about, actually that there's accountability, there's transparency, and that we're connecting the resources to those moving forward. So for me, I would love to see more, a stronger voice for the things that we're saying, that our tagline and what's on our marketing brochures, make sure we're living that, and make sure that people are advocating for those things at all levels.
Great.
And I would say the zip line from Mount Washington to the Point.
That's a good one. You know what I would say is we need a Void game here. We need a Void virtual reality game here. Void, please bring something to Pittsburgh. You'll do well here. Trust me. So, thank you guys for joining me today and helping me celebrate Into Pittsburgh's 3rd year anniversary. It's been great having you back, and I look forward to checking in with you in a future time.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'd like to thank my guests today from New Sun Rising, Scott Wolovich and Dan Steicher. Now's your turn. Hit that like button on Facebook or on YouTube. Leave us a comment. If you have an idea or want to be on this show in the future, we'd love to have you. You can hit me up on Twitter. My hashtag is #IntoPGH, and I am at CS Whitlatch on Twitter. And thank you to all those that make this show possible on PCTV. We'll be back next month, and we'll be talking, actually we have very special shows next month as well. We're gonna do May the 4th, so everything will be themed Star Wars. So we'll learn lessons from Star Wars and apply them to Pittsburgh next month, so be sure you tune in. In the meantime, you can tune in on Monday nights during the community television block on PCTV. Into Pittsburgh starts it off at 7 p.m. And this has been Into Pittsburgh, and I'm Christopher Whitlatch. Thank you so much for 3 years of hosting this show.